Welcome back for another Artist Spotlight. My name again is Joe Foy, and today I am joined by Brittany Cean. And if you know Brittany, she plays locally, mostly acoustic. Kind of very cool vibe that you have going. You've been doing it for quite a while now, playing around here,
I
right?
have.
How long has it been?
Oh my goodness. I knew I should have came prepared with this answer.
Approximately.
I started playing out consistently in 2008.
Okay. 2008, so that's going to be, right now we're in 2025, just kidding, 2022.
Man, those years fly.
So 2008 is what, 14-ish years?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. When did you like pick up a guitar?
My mom always had a guitar in the house and taught me some cowboy chords really young, and I took an interest in it. So she sent me to Jay Brown at Black River Music for lessons in 2002, and we didn't really do a lot of lessoning. it was because my mom was friends with him, so it was mostly just us going in and him being like, so we're gonna do this, and hey, did you see that band last night? And they'd get talking, because my mom was in the bands too. So they would get talking about stuff, and like 30 minutes would pass, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I'll see you next week.
You're like, that was, what? Wait.
Very informative. But he would send me home with like chord sheets and stuff, which we didn't really have the internet in 2002. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of resources if you didn't know what you were doing for figuring out how to do what you were doing. So
Right.
he would send me home with like the classic poster with like all of the chord formations and everything. I never learned theory. That wasn't part of the program.
Yep. You learned the chords and how to play it, and then you started kind of learning how to play specific songs.
Yes. So I was a Jewel addict. Indigo Girls, stuff I could sing with my mom.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But, and I definitely would say that those years where there weren't a lot of other ways to figure out how to play cover songs were more creative for me as far as writing goes.
Yeah.
I did more writing 15 years ago than I had done in the last 10 years. So.
Gotcha. And when you first started playing guitar though, were you kind of singing along to it? Was it kind of the intention of playing and then being able to sing?
Yeah.
And then eventually, so that was your creative time, you started writing songs. Do you know how many you'd written? Were there like a lot of ones that were like...
Oh my goodness. I think I probably at one point had maybe 7 or 8 that I would play.
Yeah.
Most of them have just poofed out of existence at this point.
Was it a poof as in like a choice that you're like... Lyrically, you didn't like it anymore?
Yeah, I mean, over time, and I am growing a little bit and maturing and finding flaws with things that I wrote when I was 14, just kind of like,
Did you record some of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably recordings kicking around in really random places. I did the Up North recordings at St. Lawrence University. Were you guys around for that?
No.
That was right around 2008, 2009, I want to say. No, I was even younger. That was before I graduated, so that would have been like 2005. I know that Queen August was part of that.
Oh, nice.
Fraser Family Band was part of that. They pulled from a lot of different places, but I went up there and they did some really cool professional recordings, and then they made a compilation CD with the stuff that they had recorded. So they did 2 of my originals, and I still have those somewhere on a computer. And those, if my website is still running by the point that this comes out, they're on the website, those recordings. And then a couple of years later, I went to a recording studio called The Mortuary in Rochester that was being run by Jay Schreiber from The Niche.
Nice.
I don't think he has that place anymore, but he is still recording and doing that kind of engineering side of music now that the band really doesn't play anymore. And he did, I think, 5 songs with me that day. And those were all on an external hard drive that has disappeared. So
no.
I have no idea.
He doesn't have the mortuary. That's what it was called?
The mortuary, well, because it was above a funeral home. It was an apartment above a funeral home. It was beautiful, beautiful Victorian style, what I can remember of it. with like all of the original woodwork and like lofty high ceilings and everything, and it was above a funeral home.
Oh, gotcha.
And the walls were Mountain Dew green.
That reminds me of, you've seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
A really long time.
No, there's a part where he's like, they make a fake voicemail message and it's like calling from the mortuary.
Oh, yes. Okay, all right. I wonder if there was a connection to that I didn't make.
Yeah. So basically, if people want to find your music, it's not like easy. There's a website that has like 2 songs, maybe.
I think I have 4 loaded on the player on that website, which is just my name, BrittanyKean.com.
But then sorry, I don't mean to.
No, you're fine.
You and Ryan Grant and Phil Dumont, or Crush as they call him, did a thing at Savory.
Yes.
A few years back, where you all 3 of you did kind of a storytelling event, right?
Yes, we did.
That was pretty cool. I went to that.
It was a really cool experience. I have not personally ever played for that many people that were sitting there listening specifically just to be there listening to the stories behind things.
Yeah.
So that was and we raised money for hospice, and we raised like thousands of dollars more than we expected to. So it was super gratifying.
It's such a unique experience. It's funny, you play music all the time, and of course we're both people who play music in that capacity.
Yeah.
But to play it for people who are listening, and it's not that people at most established aren't listening, but they don't come there to listen.
Right.
They come there to eat, to drink, to talk,
be entertained on
and
the
to
side.
be entertained, and to kind of have the music, because if there's no music, it sounds empty.
Yes.
And then they feel like they're uncomfortable.
Right.
But when you do this kind of this intimate feel, all eyes are on you, which is how I feel when we play at church. I mean,
oh yes.
Did you feel like you were like more nervous?
I thought I was going to die. I was hyperventilating between every single song. I don't remember a single thing I said. I don't remember anything I said through the whole thing. I'm just assuming I didn't embarrass myself and my family because they were all there.
I remember.
Yeah, it was terrifying and really cool just to have that many people like really engaged and specifically there for that purpose was cool. I've not experienced anything like that since then.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I talk about it a lot, but just having the people watching and being able to experience it, like I don't remember the songs exactly, but I remember how they existed. I remember how the event went.
Yeah.
I remember how it was like one person at a time. It was kind of like, and because of that, it formed my memory. Whereas when I see people playing out just regular, I'm like, it doesn't really form maybe a memory the same way.
Yeah. Well, we also, we're so active in that capacity of playing music that it really it does start to kind of blur together after a while for when I play and for when I go to see other people.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you see people multiple times, they're going to play a couple songs. The cool thing about this is you did some original stuff, so it's things that a lot of us didn't know probably that were there. Some of us maybe who'd seen one of you out had heard one of the songs, maybe family members, but not the other person's.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool experience, and I hope you do it again.
We really would like to. We've kind of talked about it a little bit. Ryan flies as a private jet pilot now and has for a couple of years, so he's been really hard to pin down. And Phil has been busy building up a homestead on Matug Hill, and we've rebuilt an entire house and combined families with my husband and dogs and like all of the things. So we've been super busy, but we have always come back to that. We want to do it again. So the plan is within the next 6 to 9 months to try and get something like that together again.
That would be awesome. So hopefully it'll be after this is released. Hopefully it'll be soon after. Yeah. And then we can promote it along with us.
That would be cool. That'd be great.
So I want to kind of move along because you've been doing something interesting. You've been working a lot with the River Edge Resort in Allage Bay, and they are doing a lot of music, and a lot of that is with your help. Is that right?
Yes. Justin Mann runs the River Edge. He approached me maybe about a year ago. It feels like longer. I think it was in the spring of 2021, and asked if I would take over the booking. We were coming back and trying to get onto a schedule with bands like they were pre-COVID, because he did a lot of booking before COVID too. But we didn't do any bands for a really long time. Everything was just solo and duo, and he asked me to take it on and said, I want to try doing this 5 days a week. So we did. Last summer we had a lot going on. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Nope, that's 4 days. 4 days a week. Oh no, because Sundays, we did Sundays too, and we did doubles on Saturdays. We had bands from 11 to 2 and 2 to 5 at the Tiki Bar.
I remember that because I was part of that, and then Joey was the other one.
Yes!
And then it poured right at the end of his set.
I did not know that. They don't tell me anything.
It was like torrential downpour.
Oh no, we had a couple of those last year. We had DocuCon come and play on Labor Day last year, and they got all of their very expensive, very nice, expansive gear set up, and I looked out behind them. Of course, at the River Edge, when you're at the Tiki Bar, you're right on the river in the bay. Looked out behind them over Hard Island and Boat Castle and saw a front come in, and I was like, no! We just barely got stuff put under the tents in time, and then it came down and it was literally raining sideways, and we were getting soaked holding tarps up around the equipment.
Oh my gosh.
And it lasted for like 12 minutes, and then the sun came out and it was so humid and we were all soaked. So that was fun, but so we've been really busy. We had been really busy last summer. This year we're going to scale it back a little bit. Still doing Wednesdays inside, doing Fridays, doing once on Saturday and once on Sunday. Yeah. So, and then the holiday Mondays we'll have stuff going on too.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's been fun because I can pull in people that I really like to see perform.
Yeah.
And that I like working with and I'm comfortable working with, and be able to showcase them and have them in a place where I can tell people like, oh, I know who's playing here this week, this is what we've got lined up. And then I've also been introduced to a lot of other musicians that I wouldn't have known from Syracuse and like Southern Tier area, so that's been really fun.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So then something that you also have been doing there occasionally, and I believe it's Thursdays, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Every other week kind of thing, and it's only during the winter.
Yeah, first and third Thursdays. We gave it a shot. We were doing, it's called Original Sessions, and I was trying to, Justin was the one that brought it up. He wanted to showcase all original music that 1 or 2 days a month. Mm-hmm. We hire predominantly cover bands because that's what the market wants. The people that are coming in to stay at the River Edge Resort want to hear cover music,
right? For
the most part. But we had that 1 or 2 days a month where we were getting people to come in from local and play original music, 3, 4 songs, whatever they wanted to do. And it was a really cool opportunity for me to showcase people in the way that we tried to do, Phil and Ryan and I tried to do with that Storytellers event. It was, come up, I'll run sound for you, don't bring anything but a microphone and your instruments, and tell us about what your writing process, or what the song is about, or if it's about nothing and it's silly, whatever. And just a couple of songs, and then move on to the next person and do it again and whatever. So that was really fun. It was great. I got to work with a ton of people over the span of a few months.
Now, outside of the River Edge, or even at the River Edge, if people want to see you, where are they going to find you? Well, okay. Because I know this is going to be in like November, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have my schedule out to January, but...
Oh, okay. So if this were November, where are people seeing you?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Well, I will ask you before it premieres.
Okay.
And then we can kind of put it in there. Okay. Like, this is your schedule for...
Yes. I will definitely be at Garland City Beer Works. I will definitely be at Spokes on the Square. I will definitely be at the River Edge on Wednesdays.
Yep.
I think I'm going to be at maybe Tug Hill Vineyard, and I'm sure there's more.
You're talking down the road.
Yep.
Yeah. What about this summer? It doesn't matter if they can't.
Can't
go do it.
Oh my gosh. Well, Top of the Bay on Sundays.
Top of the Bay on Sundays.
Top of the Bay on Sundays every year. It's my day.
Okay.
July and August. I'll be at the River Edge on Wednesdays straight through. I know I'm doing the 1-year anniversary party for Boots Brewing on the square.
Oh, that's cool. Right
That'll
at
be
Boots.
what's that?
You're gonna be at Boots then?
I'm gonna be at Boots, yep.
That's awesome.
I wanna say that's maybe June 11th.
Okay.
I think it's in July. It's definitely in July.
Yeah. So likely these have already gone by.
Yeah.
But if you saw her, that's great. Good job.
Yay! Thank you.
Congratulate yourself.
Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for all of the applause.
Yeah. And she said gifts, as in or gifs, as some people might call them.
Have you heard that podcast?
No.
I said no gifts. And it's the whole premise of the podcast is I told you not to bring any gifts for me, but if you don't bring one, you get roasted.
Oh, gotcha.
By the guy that runs the podcast. I said no gifts.
Nice. Yeah. So I kind of want to deviate from music because I kind of like to know what people do that's not music, because if you're a musician, you're probably not just doing that. Unfortunately, it's not easy to do.
It's true.
People are still making the same amount that they made back in 1970. And
in many cases, especially if you're a band.
Yeah, and I'm not talking inflation. It was $500 then. It's for some bands, it's $500 now. So
yeah.
What do you do outside of music?
I substitute teach.
Nice.
I'm Mrs. G. Well, Mrs. C. Mrs. G.
Do you have specific school districts you do that?
I work for General Brown.
Gotcha.
Yep.
How long have you been doing that?
Oh my gosh. It'll be 4.5 years. I was with Sackett's Harbor before I went to General Brown, so it's been about 4 years with General Brown.
Yep. And how was it through the whole pandemic, dare I ask?
Oh my goodness. Well, I have an elementary age child, so for him it was a nightmare because he had his teacher at home with him all the time. So many kids were like, woo, we started vacation early, and in our house it was, Mom, I really don't want to have to do this today. And it's like, my boss is going to judge me if you don't submit some work today. So yeah, I mean, obviously there was no working for a sub during the pandemic, but we made it through. And then when we came back the following year, everybody was masked, and it was a whole thing.
Learning experience.
It was really cool when we came out of mask wearing, and these kids whose faces I really hadn't seen for a year and a half took their masks off. I was like, wow, I didn't realize you'd grown up so much. You've been under me the whole time, and I did not notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. No, it's actually Shannon mentions that a lot.
Yeah.
Masks.
Yeah.
Or they comment on her face too, I didn't know that's what your face looked like.
I know,
this whole
isn't
time.
it crazy, especially with the littles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we missed talking about that we should mention? That you want everybody to know?
Get your kids to take lessons at the Music Ed Center.
There we go.
Yeah.
Promotion of the Music Ed Center.
Yeah, he's not even paying me for that. It's local, he's really good at it. He's got a lot of different outlets for kids in different situations. You guys did some work with him for a bit, didn't you?
Yes.
For the MEC. Music Education Centers of Watertown. If you want to get your kids into music, get in touch with Joe for Harmony. Get in touch with Christian Shank for Music Ed Center.
Yep. And we have a private instructor list that has a lot of the instructors on there.
Yeah.
From there. Christian's actually on our board.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So.
Love it.
Cool. Well, thank you for being our artist spotlight for this month, which I believe will be November. And if it's not, I apologize.
Yeah.
But whatever month this is, well deserved. And thank you for everything you do for the community and all the music.
Thank you. I appreciate it.